Let's look at one more example for finding the perimeter of a triangle on the coordinate plane, and then also using the side lengths to determine what type of triangle this is. Okay, so if we're looking at triangle GHJ, so we're looking at the pink triangle here, I can see that point J is located at the ordered pair of 3, -7. G is at the ordered pair of 8, +3, and H is at the ordered pair of 13, -7. Okay, so these numbers have been written down over here, these points, and I'm going to use my equation that says distance is equal to the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Okay, so let's first look at JH. Okay, so let's let this be our x1, y1, and this be our x2, y2. Okay, so if I'm looking for my distance between these 2 points, I have 13 minus 3, quantity squared, plus -7 minus a -7 squared. Okay, 13 minus 3 is 10 squared, plus -7 minus a -7 is 0 squared. So this would be 10, the square root of 10 squared, which is 100, which is exactly 10 units. Okay, now let's look at the distance between points H and G. Okay, I'm going to let H be my x2, y2, and we'll let G be my x1, y1. So I would have 13 minus 8 squared plus -7 minus 3 squared. 13 minus 8 is 5 squared, plus -7 minus 3 is a -10 squared. 5 squared is 25, -10 squared is 100, so this would be 125, which is approximately 11 1800ths. Okay, and the last side that I need to find is JG. JG, let's let J be my x1, y1, and G be my x2, y2. Okay, so if I do that, I've got 8 minus 3 squared plus 3 minus a -7 squared. 8 minus 3 is 5 squared, plus 3 minus a -7 is 10 squared. So this is going to be 25 plus 100, or the square root of 125, which again is going to be approximately 11.18 units. Okay, I can see here that I have 2 lengths that are exactly the same, and then one that is not. So because I have 2 that are exactly the same, I know this is an isosceles triangle. Okay, but I don't know if it's an acute isosceles, a right isosceles, or an obtuse isosceles. So let's determine that. Okay, so I can determine that by saying what is a squared plus b squared in relation to c squared. And remember that they go in order of greatest distance. So a is my smallest distance, which would be 10 squared. B is going to be my next distance, which would be 125, the square root of 125. And then how does that relate to the square root of 125? Well, 10 squared is 100. plus 125 equals 125 because this is the square root. Okay, so I've got 225 is greater than 125. So this is going to be an acute triangle because a squared plus b squared is larger than c squared. So this is an acute isosceles triangle. So to classify it, I can do that just using the coordinates on, or the vertex, the points on the coordinate plane. Okay, and then let's determine what the perimeter is. So the perimeter is the sides all added together, P-E-R-I-M-E-T-E-R. So that's equal to the square root of 125 plus the square root of 125 plus 10. Okay, or we knew this was 11 and 18/100ths, 11 and 18/100ths, and 10. So that's going to be 32 and 36/100ths units. So that would be my perimeter. Oh, I don't know what just happened there, but that's the perimeter of this triangle. Okay. So I was able to determine that it's an acute isosceles triangle. I'm able to determine the perimeter, and very soon we're going to be talking about the area.